Yeah, I think so. Don't know when exactly, but expect Jaron to play, and we'll start it, and we'll kind of go as it goes. I think it brings a good dynamic, and Jaron has done a nice job and has put himself in a position to keep getting some opportunities. So.
How would you, I know he only threw 3 passes, 4 if you don't count the one that was flagged, but how would you assess his performance?
I thought he did well. I thought, he didn't get rattled. He managed the situation well. We even went one time where we kind of went in an up-tempo type of mode on him, and he handled it really, really well.
Where's Skylar at right now with his recovery?
I think he's doing great. I can't tell you that I think he's going to be ready tomorrow or 2 or 3 weeks from now, but his ability to move around and throw the football, I've been happy with.
You expect to see multiple fronts out of Jim Knowles?
Oh, definitely. They do a great job of, especially with the age. They got a defensive end that's played a bunch that really understands number 9, that really understands the game. So they will be in 4-down personnel and line up in 3-down looks. They'll put him in as a linebacker stood up. They'll slide him back out and play as a rush end, even though he's maybe in a 2-point stance. So we'll see multiple looks. We've got to do a great job handling that.
How satisfying was it when you lost Josh Freevis briefly to an injury last week, but you brought in some new offensive linemen and drove it right down the field?
Yeah, Josh obviously is a huge deal for us because he's been playing extremely well. I think I talked last week even about just probably he's played the best football of all of them. But we keep hammering those guys on. It's kind of the next guy up, and if you're called upon, you've got to make sure you go in and do your job, and everybody's got to count on you. And it was good to see us really do a good job in a number of series, finishing plays, finishing drives, moving the chains. Probably the best thing that we did was stay out of 3rd and long, even though we weren't totally where we didn't have any 3rd and longs. Compared to the first 2 weeks, we were much more 3rd and manageable.
The last 6 quarters, you've done what you had to do to win games. You've run the ball a lot. Do you suspect you're going to have to put it up in the air?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I told the wideouts right when the game got over, we're not going to beat Oklahoma State. We're not going to beat Oklahoma. We're not going to win in the Big 12 throwing the ball 13 times. Now, we called more than 13, but because of the pressure that Nevada brought, the number of times they blitzed, we had a number of run checks against the blitzes. So we didn't want to drop back or even run some nakeds against their pressure. We thought we could handle them. We could pick up the blitzes better in the run game, we felt like, than we could in the passing game. So, I anticipate we'll throw the ball much more than we did last week.
And is that kind of the big difference with Will Howard being able to make some of those checks this year?
He honestly, I'm not saying he wasn't able to do it a little bit last year because he did, but to the extent that he was able to do it this past game, I'm not sure that he missed one of their pressures, meaning I'm not sure he was caught off guard, whether it was getting the protection the correct way or saying, hey, wait a minute, we need to get out of this and run the football. Because Colin could tell you the total number that he had, but he probably checked us 15 times in that game because of pressure.
How big is it for him to face this type of crowd?
It's interesting. You don't think about it, but because of last year, this is really the first time he's been in a hostile environment. Being on the road in the Big 12, really anywhere when you're going to have fans getting after you, whether you're down in the red zone, whether you're coming out, whether it's 3rd down, your ability to handle it and still communicate is a huge key. And I think he'll handle it well just because he's pretty mature for his age.
Just how good and impressive was Deuce been? I know we ask it every single week. The plays that he makes on a routine basis.
Yeah, I really believe that he doesn't care whether it's in the run game, in the passing game. If I get opportunity, I'm going to try to make the biggest play. I think the thing that's helped him, though, is, having Joe play as well as Joe has allowed Deuce to 2 things. One, get a little bit of a break and get a mindset where I can see how the defense is playing from a different perspective, but then also just get him some rest. And I hope that we continue to play. I hope we play at least 3 tailbacks each week and have legitimate carries by all 3 of them.
You feel like you found the right situations for Joe Irvin versus Nevada?
Yeah, I really do. I think that, as I talked a little bit last week, he just runs so much more violent straight downhill and slides off people more than really juking them or making them miss, as much as he just slides off an edge and runs through arm tackles. And he's got to keep doing that for us, because it gives us a little bit of a different tempo when he's carrying it than when Deuce is carrying it.
How important is it that have him to complement Deuce? If you want, last year you put him out at receiver and the threat level dropped in the backfield.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't drop that much.
No, and that's one of the things as we keep going in the Big 12, we're going to have to do more and more of what we call ponies, which is 2 tailbacks in the backfield, just because Joe is a legitimate run threat, and then somebody has to go figure out where Deuce is at, just because his abilities from his skill set allows you to be a receiver as well.
So in an ideal world, would Jacardia Wright become more involved in the offense?
Needs to keep doing that. He's he probably weighs 20 more pounds than either Deuce or Joe. I thought that he had 2 weeks ago had a couple good runs. I think that he's going to keep coming along. I think the biggest thing is him being that much more comfortable in the stage that he's in, and us having that much more confidence that he'll handle that stage. And the more chances he gets, the better he'll do.
You mentioned having to throw the football a little bit more this week. If you get into a position where maybe you fall behind in the game, or you need to throw the football, how confident are you that Will Howard and both Jaron Lewis can?
Oh, I'm confident. I'm confident, and the reason I am is because I believe that our wide receivers trust those guys, and trust is the biggest part of having a really, really good passing game. It's the quarterback and receivers on the same page, tight ends included, obviously, that they trust each other and are going to make plays for each other.